Kathy, if you could please join me at the stage. We'd love to hear you. Thank you for bringing a copy of the book, too. It's an amazing looking book.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get into it.
Thank you so much. And Chris, thank you. And where's the fabulous Fabiola? Isn't she awesome? And the committee who worked on that dinner and putting the program and the seating, the environment. It is so great. Thank you all so much for inviting me. I'm just going to do this, shamelessly. My books are right over there, $20 each. I hope you get one. And because I'm going to be speaking tomorrow, let me just get this out of the way. Where is Wendy? Wendy, right here in the middle. I'm going to be speaking at an event she's putting together, Reignite Republican Women. It's a brunch at 10:30 a.m. at his place, Bridgewater. So see Wendy for more details, and I hope to see you guys there. Hopefully, I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit more intimate so we can really do some talking back and forth and strategizing. But tonight, I just want to talk to y'all for a moment. How many of you saw what happened at the White House today with Zelensky? Ouch. So not that many people, most of you didn't see it. How many of you saw it? How many of you heard it? Yeah. Right? Wow. And it was so apropos. I was almost late getting here because I kept watching one person video after another person. And y'all know what happened when you start scrolling on Twitter or X now. You get lost. But we were talking about it, my friend and I, we were driving here, that this moment that we're living in, it feels, I was trying to find the right word, and the only word I could think of was pregnant. Like something is about to be birthed. I don't know if it's a good something or a bad something, but I feel as though we're standing on the precipice. That this moment is not like every moment that we've lived through. Am I the only one that feel that way? It's been a call on my heart, like a pounding at the door of my heart, that this moment is not like every other moment. That we are witnessing something, and that little stunt, Zelensky coming in hot, he came in real hot. And praise the Lord that we now have leaders with a backbone, made of something a little bit sturdier than ear cartilage. I am so grateful for that, because this moment, come hell or high water, good or bad, we are going to need a stronger mind than the one we had who just left office. We're going to need someone who understands the times we're living in. In fact, that's really my message for you guys tonight. Is that as we stand on this moment, it feels like, I remember when I was pregnant, moms out here, you may identify with this, unconsciously, I started doing this little thing they call nesting. Getting ready, preparing. And had I not been reading a ton of books about what to expect when you're expecting, I would not have been able to identify that in this moment, I'm nesting unconsciously. I just feel like I need to start moving some things around and finishing off that to-do list. That's my message to you. I feel like we are on the edge of a moment that is not like anything. I know people are, well, we're winning and the memes and they gotcha and popping champagne. But there's a moment that I think is very serious, very real, that we are standing at the door of. And as I've been wrestling with that kind of feeling on the inside of me, I've been paying attention, spending a lot of time with the Lord, for one, but also getting really silent so that I can hear what it is I need to do. And that's what I've been doing, is a lot of nesting, as if right before something gives birth. And a lot of that nesting activity I've been doing is really understanding the moment, understanding the times that we're living in. Because if you don't understand the times you're living in, you're going to miss your moment. You're going to miss why all of this is here in the first place and why you're still here on this side of heaven. I was thinking about, when Fabiola and Chris called and asked for me to come and speak at the Lincoln Day dinner, I started thinking about Abraham Lincoln, one of my favorites. He freed my people. No, literally. I have the blood of slaves coursing through my veins. I grew up in very rural Alabama. Most of you probably have heard my story. I won't go down that particular path. But I spent a lot of time studying our founding fathers, studying Abraham Lincoln. And one of the things about each of these great men who have come before us is that they understood the times they were living in. And they understood it so much that when they were called upon, when it was on their watch to do something, they stood. They were present. They were ready. They didn't trip over a lot of things. They were very resolute when you read the books and read the letters and read the stories about where they are. But in order for us to also be ready, what did Reagan say? Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Guess whose generation we're in right now? Ours. The one. Who said that? We're in the one. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Guess which generation you're in right now? The one. You're in that one. And it's on your watch. We love talking about our founding fathers did this. I'm so grateful for them. But guess what? They're dead. And now it's on your watch. And unless you're present, unless you because the noise is here. I know I'm not the only one that feels this. But unless you get quiet enough to hear it, you're going to miss your moment. And how can we show up and be ready for the times we're living in if we got a plank in our eye? How can I go and remove the speck out of your eye if I'm walking around here with a plank in my eye? So tonight I want to talk about this whole nesting thing, what I've been doing. And I just want to share it with you because I think it's important. It's been really about identity. A lot of it. Who am I? Who are you? Why are you here? What is your purpose? What are we doing this for? Understanding that. And the first thing, I love history. I've read a lot of books to my children. One of them, and I put it in my purse. I was going to open it up and crack it open and start reading it as we were driving here. But it is Marcus Aurelius. Y'all know him, one of the great emperors. And I'm going to try to get this quote right. I keep forgetting it. But he says, do you remember? If you want to live, the quality of your life is dependent upon the quality of your thoughts. If you want a great life, look at your thoughts. Your thoughts make up the content of your mind. And wherever your mind goes, the rest of you is going to follow. This is a great man, one of the greatest emperors of Rome, and he kept a diary. And in that, I'm paraphrasing it, but the quality of your life is dependent upon the quality of your thoughts. We need to grab our thoughts. If your thoughts are nothing more than 5 hours of playing Candy Crush and 2 hours scrolling on Twitter, you're gonna miss your moment. Because your mind is not going to be ready for what is going to be demanded upon you. And yes, Donald Trump won, praise the Lord. But he can't do it all by himself. If we've learned anything from 2020, is that he can't do it by himself. We're going to be like leeches and we're going to drain the man. I remember 2016, Donald Trump won. I'm like, yeah, he got that. And every time Democrats did something crazy, be like, yeah, Donald Trump, he got that. It's going to call upon you. But how can you show up and be ready for your moment? If there's a plank in your eye, you've done no work in nesting and cleaning up your thought life, figuring it out who you are, why you're here, what are you supposed to be doing. And if you're spending 20 hours on Facebook every day, because you're supposed to be working, but you're not, I know, I'm there too. Then what are you filling your time with? Secondly, on the door of my room, of my office, and I wrote it in the books, those who purchased it, I have stenciled upon my wall a quote from Frederick Douglass where he said, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. And if you know his story, you understand the power of that. Once you know, you can't unknow. Now I know. You were saying earlier, once you see, what is your name again? Kasaya. She is new to the Republican Party, always conservative, but just joined her and her husband. Y'all stand up. Stand up. Come on, come on, come on. This is the future of the party. They just joined. When this is over, do a beeline. He's an air traffic controller. We never knew how important that job was until about a month ago, right? He's going to leave soon, so y'all do a beeline. Welcome them. Show them love. Thank you so much. Once you know, you can't unknow. I am not the same person I was in 2016. I've lived through some things. Y'all have lived through some things, right? Whoever thought it would have gotten as bad as it did? Talk about one generation away from extinction. I don't know how close we were to extinction, but it felt real close. These people are not playing with us. Let me just pause here for a moment. These people are not playing with us. I was, by the grace of God, after my run, I don't know if you guys know me, I'm Kathy Barnette. I ran against Dr. Oz, Dave McCormick back in 2022. I'm that girl. And after that race, yeah, I was pissed, licking some wounds. But I remember having a fork in the road moment. And I tell you no lie, I could hear the Spirit of God say, so, are you going to be bitter now? I had every right to be bitter. They lied. And they stole an opportunity that was mine. I could have stirred that pot up until, I could have been like Zelensky, 7 years later, still stirring that pot. But look how crazy he looks, right? We're talking about tomorrow. He's talking about 8 years ago, right? Looking crazy. And because I believe, I decided I won't be bitter. The reason I got involved in politics are still my reason. I love my country. I believe the overwhelming majority of the leaders we have suck, and I think we can do better. That was the reason why I ran. That's the reason why I stayed involved. Those are still my reason. I love this country. I want to see us do well. And because I did not stir the pot, but decided to always see the glass half full, Vivek Ramaswamy messaged me, and we started hanging out. And I was the first person he brought onto his campaign. And when we started, he was at 0.0 in the polls. Now look at him. And I'm grateful to have had a part in that. But as we were traveling around the nation, because if you listen to mainstream media and Twitter, you think our nation is divided 50-50. You think, how in the world are we going to overcome all of this hatred and vitriol? You know what I discovered as I was traveling all across the nation? We are not as divided as they would have us to believe. There is a division, but it's more like 80-20. the 80% on our side. The problem is that the 20%ers, these people they've learned nothing since November. They are completely unrepentant. I spend a lot of time in DC right now. These people are completely unrepentant. They have learned nothing. And if we don't figure out who we are individually and who we are as a party, we're going to miss the moment. And in 2026, these people are going to come back like a bad case of herpes. They are not, I don't know what that feels like, but I'm assuming it's hot. They are not playing with us. Do you see? We're now discovering that they sent $50 million to Gaza for condoms. We're discovering they spent $20 million on a Sesame Street in Iraq. They spent $37 million on a transgender opera in Peru. They spent $32,000 on a DEI musical in Ireland. We just found out they spent $59 million for 1 week of hotel stay for illegals in New York. We just found out they spent $122 million going to an organization with direct ties to Hamas, Hezbollah, and Al-Qaeda. And you know what bulldog face Maxine Waters is doing? Y'all know her face looks like it's sliding. I don't care. I'm not running for office right now. But these people are literally holding rallies, trying to get us to feel bad that the people who's been defrauding us and scheming us and stealing from us are getting fired. Talk about tone deaf. Talk about not understanding the crowd. They are unrepentant. There is not a bone in their body. The only thing they're pissed about is that you're aware. Our founding fathers and Abraham Lincoln and so many others up and down that spectrum, they were not marble statues. They were flesh and blood. But they understood the times they were living in. And when they saw it, they stepped forward at great cost. But they were ready. I have basically went to every single one of their homes, our founding fathers in the Philadelphia area. And when you walk into their room, the docent meets you at the door. And almost always, invariably, to the left, they show their library. And these were rooms, and they would say they had books from the floor to the ceiling, and they read all of them. So going back to what Aurelia said, the quality of your life is going to be based upon the quality of your thoughts. Do better. We all must do better. Oh, wait a minute. Give me like 5 more minutes. I'll wrap it up. Secondly, I'm going to go real quick right here. Secondly, know your children. Don't stop sending your children out here in the world like blank checks for other people to write on. For other people to write their agenda on your children. They got your children fighting the hard fight for Hamas in these universities. They got your children out here cutting off breasts, chemically castrating themselves. They got your children out here welcoming and trying to get in more illegals, literally destroying their own futures. But it's because we as parents got to do a better job of making sure our children understand their identity. Who are you? Know who you are. Know why you're here. It's not the school's job to do it. It's your job as a parent. And all of these young people spending their whole lives on TikTok. It's not real world. These people are lying. They're miserable when they get off. My background is finance. I love balance sheet. That's just a snapshot in time. You don't know what happened after they took that photo on Instagram and what happened right before it. It's not real. But stop sending your children out here like blank checks for other people to write on. They're looking for a purpose. Show them that purpose. Lastly, stencil across my wall, Frederick Douglass. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. But you know what I've learned recently? Is that knowledge without courage is still slavery. I remember being out here. Everybody looked at me like I'm the radical one when I said there was only 2 genders. People looking at me like I'm the crazy one. I'm like, I know I'm not crazy. And I am not going to stand here and give an inheritance to my children as if I don't know what a boy is and what a woman is. I refuse to do it. And of course, they malign me, being hateful and yada, yada, yada. I already knew boys should not be competing with girls. I already knew that. And prepared my family that if I see a boy on the track with our daughter, I'm not going to be the only one feeling uncomfortable. I'm going to make it my business to make them feel uncomfortable. Right? Oh, no, but they labeled me. I'm a phobic, I'm a this, I'm a that. I don't care. I don't care. And I never will forget when someone said, thank you for having so much courage. And they were applauding me for it, and it didn't feel like courage. It just felt like, what's today? Friday. It just felt like another Friday. Like, this is true. I have the blood of slaves coursing through my veins. I refuse to willingly be a slave. There were a lot of opportunities over these past 8 years when we needed more people to have a backbone and to say the obvious. Trust me, a moment is coming. And you are going to have to pull out that backbone that's been stored in your closet. And you're going to have to put it back in and arrive for the moment. And I leave you with Reagan one more time. Freedom is only one generation away from extinction. What generation are you in right now?
That one.
That one. Thank you, guys. If I don't see you again, take care of yourself, love your family, hold your children, get involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kathy.